the California wildfires were going to be preceded by something funny. So before we can get to that, we got to show you the update on college students out there. 25 years ago, Joe Rogan had a stand-up routine, and somewhere in there, it was during the Bush administration. There was a joke like, "I think we can go dumber." Like the Americans elected a dumb guy as president, and we won't know, and unless you elect a real dumb guy, and they did, and then someone said, "I think we can go dumber." If you have not currently had the wherewithal to take the temperature on the intellect coming out of the universities these days, I mean, my expectations were already set low, and they went like below zero on this. They went below zero. This is from JP Reacts. College students literally know nothing, and I'm trying to think of the creator. It's Liberty something. Liberty Hangout maybe is the creator that he's featuring in this. These are college students being asked legit questions that if you're in this audience, you know all the answers to these questions. You won't be able to fathom why these kids have no connection to the answers to these questions. The absence of the connection is the function of schooling, I'm sure. Schooling's working, but that's not working for our freedom. So let's go have a couple laughs, and then we'll turn to the more serious topic of the LA fires.
You know what?
The capital of the United States. Madison.
How little some college students know about America is astonishing. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. This is where we call out lies, hypocrisy, and corruption and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters because truth conquers. But you can't conquer anything unless you're strong. Here to help us get stronger is Ancestral Supplements grass-fed beef liver. Beef liver is nature's multivitamin for a reason. From Liberty Hangout. I love their channel. Shout out Liberty Hangout, where she's going around a beach and interviewing different college students, asking them basic America questions. Questions that a fifth grader should definitely know. Questions that you probably know all the answers to, and how they didn't know things about America. It totally blew my mind. It was fascinating and a little bit scary because we all know that seemingly students in college, students in high school, public schools are taught to hate America. And one way to hate America is to not know about America. One way to repeat the mistakes that we've gone through before. Do you remember a mistake we've made just 4 years ago? COVID. One way to not repeat those is know about your history in the country you live in. That way you can do things a better way. Now, a little while I'll share some stats about college, how people pay the most for the worst education. No judgment there. It's just my observation. So we'll get to those in a second. But first, let's peruse some of the highlights of Liberty Hangout interviewing college students and seeing what they don't know about America.
Year did America gain its independence?
Oh, come on. It's not 1942, because that would be Christopher Columbus.
It's definitely not 1942, and 1942 is also not Christopher Columbus.
Could gain its independence from?
Christopher Columbus.
Yes, America gained its independence from Christopher Columbus. Why are they all on the Christopher Columbus bandwagon?
What major document was signed at the Constitutional Convention?
Declaration of Independence.
It sounds like that could be a plausible answer. I don't know this for sure, if I'm being honest with you, but I think it would be the Constitution.
What city did American colonists throw tea into the harbor to protest?
What city?
Mm-hmm.
It's England, right?
Yes. He gets a special shout out. I'm not going to criticize him for being dumb. I'll praise him for being funny. What city in America? England? Boston. I'm going to flex a little. I'll let you know the right answers.
Where was the Vietnam War fought?
John, please. I'm in history class.
What happened during World War II? Big, terrible event.
The Boston Tea Party.
Yeah, World War II is known for the terrible event of the Boston Tea Party that apparently happened in England, according to another guy.
Name 4 of America's founding fathers.
Oh, George Washington.
Uh-huh.
Thomas Edison.
Electricity.
What president freed the slaves?
Oh, John.
I love this guy and his friend the most.
The answer is one.
Oh my god. Oh.
Spoiler alert, you might not have heard Abraham Lincoln, I think. He just checked his skin color.
What is the capital of the United States?
Washington, D.C.
No, it's not Washington, D.C. It's Washington.
No, it's not.
I like that. She asserts, no, it is not Washington, D.C. It's one thing if you don't know the answer. That's pretty laughable. It's another thing if you hear the right answer and assert that that is wrong.
Isn't it just Washington?
It's Washington, D.C.
It's just
At least they know.
That's a state. Where are you from?
Azerbaijan?
Okay. And you want to be famous.
Yeah.
What is the capital of the United States?
Washington, D.C.
The foreigner got it.
Very good, very good. Some Americans don't know that. What year did America gain its independence?
I don't know.
Don't know?
I have no idea.
1863.
Yeah, 1863. I think there's 2 years that America gained its independence. 1776, shout out, that was a good year. And then we kind of lost our independence a little bit along the way. Globalists. I think 2024 is the year America regained its independence. Donald J. Trump, J.D. Vance, November 5th. Think about it. We'll get back to the video in just a second, but first, here's something that'll scare you. Now back to the video.
Do you have a better guess?
Abby? I don't. 17 something?
Okay. On the right?
17.
17 something.
74.
1757. What year did America gain its independence?
1767.
Very close.
1762.
Getting
What
colder.
year did America gain its independence?
This lady, she needs to win an
ahead,
award in
pull
this
it.
video. And
The answer to 1984 is 1776. And if you don't hate America, then go over to getautonomy.info. And if you read and you like what you see, you can either click that button to schedule a call and talk to a graduate, or you can click this button to learn more and get to the free primer course to answer all your questions. Now, I'm just saying that because unless, you want to turn your future over to that generation that you just saw right there that can't answer basic questions about commonly known things from where we all come from. Those are commonly known things about how this apparatus works and runs. If you don't know the basics, like what's the capital of America, I doubt you understand anything I've said about the Fabian Socialists, the Anglo-American establishment, or their plan to delete and kill America that's been ongoing for over 100 years with the last 7 hours of artifacts that I've showed you tonight. So in an effort to raise the intellect and to oppose these bad ideas with better ideas instead of violence, I encourage you, I invite you at, are you smarter than a 5th grade level? Take the primer course, see what your options are, because I guarantee that we've built stuff that you haven't considered yet at price levels you haven't known about yet, but you can't do anything without taking steps to resolve issues. So if you think that you're okay with like short cash flow for the rest of your life, then please don't add any skills or talent to your offering to the market and stay right where you're at. But don't keep saying that's the thing that keeps you from making progress, because to make progress, you have to decide, I want something better than what I have, and then I'm going to go do something I haven't done in a way that's objectively moral and ethical and doesn't plunder anyone else's production. I think that's a noble way to make one's way through the world today. Or you could go, scam some woman into divorcing her husband and get her $850,000 from her divorce settlement, as we learned earlier tonight. So it's like, we got options. I'm just offering you a path that leads away from being schooled. That's the gist. All right, now we have to pivot and get to the California wildfire situation. We have clips that here's an person maybe from Guatemala with a torch setting fires. We alluded to it last week. It was still in the news this week. We have a group of kids camping or getting high. They're meditating, they said, up near where one of the fires originate. The LA fire camera shows someone of their description running away from the fire as it starts. Is it these kids? We don't know, but we're showing you news that happened this past week. And then we do have a couple, funnier commentaries on it. We have Tim Dillon, and we also have a Joe Rogan clip talking about the fires. But we also have a clip, more importantly, that's serious coming from Peter Duke in his post-fire situation. He did an interview, I think, earlier today or earlier yesterday with Matthew Ehret of Canadian Patriot. And during that discussion, they get into the Peter Berg-Gruen character that we started researching last week. And what he had to say was interesting enough that I think you guys should know and like maybe do some investigation and look some stuff up for yourself so you can become knowledgeable on globalists who are technocrats and planning smart cities where other people already have property. So it does fit in with the globalist investigation theme that we have for tonight that came from this week's news. And let's continue to flesh it out by seeing some globalist Renfields like LA's mayor and California's governor going to be coming up in these blocks. All right, let's take it away, LD. Oh, the one with Eric, and I think I time coded it already.
Just that one? I was just the one with Eric.
Yeah, but I wanted to go to the middle where he was talking about Berg-Gruen, and that link doesn't look like it has time code to it.
Oh,
so let's
yeah,
wing
I'll
it.
Find it. Yeah.
We'll wing it. We'll do it live. But we got 2 clips before that to find it.
Santa Ana winds, these high-speed winds that come in once a year into California, are expected to pick up this week. The fire is still barely contained. The death toll has now increased to 24. And this, the LA wildfires, damages were estimated at between $130 to $150 billion, making this the most expensive fire in history. This is a terrifying story, my friends, but we all want to figure out how this happened. And the question is, because we don't want it to happen again. And now there's a lot to this story. There is illegal immigrant suspected arsonists. There are illegal immigrant looters. There's an individual who was arrested dressing up like the fire chief in an effort to loot homes. The exploitation of this fire is terrifying. And I have to wonder, when a society scales so large, is it just that there's nothing you can do about it? So there's a time-lapse video of how this fire began. And it starts as a small plume of gray smoke in a backyard garden. As the time-lapse continues, it becomes this raging fire that has wiped out let's just say, the largest, the most expensive fire in history, not the largest, from a small little garden. Now, here's the terrifying reality of the scale of our society. When we're looking at these arsonists in a city, I mean, what does LA County have? 13 million people or some ridiculously large number like that? It takes only one person to destroy everything, be it flicking a cigarette. Maybe you're driving a truck and a chain falls off the back of the car, sparking on the ground, igniting brush. Or somebody had a candle in their backyard and they were simply enjoying the sweet smell of vanilla and cinnamon, and then the candle tipped over and just like that. It takes the smallest of moments, the smallest of sparks. There's this video that went viral a while back where it's some young guys in front of their house and their lawns are all dried out. And the dude is joking and he takes a lighter and he lights like a piece of grass, and then it jumps and the whole neighborhood, all the grass has just been burned out. You can't control that spread. It happens too quick. And this is the terrifying reality of where we are. With criminals, gangs, suspected cartel arsonists and looters, the interests here from these evil people, it's difficult to compete with. Now, on top of all that, we have, of course, Gavin Newsom. We've got the fire chief. We've got the mayor. And oh boy, is there a lot of blame to go around. So let's first take a look at these stories of what's going on with these arsonists, these suspects, people being caught with blowtorches. My understanding is that one of these fires that was put out, a smaller one, and I say smaller, but actually was burning decently large. Like, I think it was around like 11 acres. Turns out that it was an arsonist who started it. They are trying to start these fires to force evacuations so they can loot the homes. And they're doing it because the people that have been caught so far, probably a small percentage of those that are actually engaging in this behavior. Now, what I want to add is, I'm looking at this map. And I mentioned that I know people in these areas, or, I've known people who live out in California. It's pretty crazy to see this. I can tell you, my friends, my understanding is that
because I am going to show you definitive proof of who started this fire. Now, you guys may have watched the video that I did yesterday about this with these guys that are discussed here in this genius news outlet, the LA Times, right? Where they saw everything that was going on X, where these gentlemen right here, Benny Orrin and his friends, had supposedly been caught with their pants down. Oh my God. We were up, in the Palisades Hills, and we got ambushed by the Palisades fire. And oh my God, we had to run for our lives. Isn't that unbelievable? We should probably get to, this is going to go viral, right? This is going to go viral. And people pointed out some wildly suspicious stuff from who these guys were, and other things from their videos that we're going to look at. Some of these over here, like these videos right here, extremely suspicious that maybe they started the fires. Well, what if I told you that I found another video, not taken by them, taken by CAL FIRE fixed cameras that capture the person who did, in fact, start the fire. And I'm going to show you that it's these guys. That's how confident that I feel that it's going to end up being. Hey, listen, it's just an opinion. Hey, for your lawyers, since this kid said that he grew up in Malibu and maybe his daddy has money, I'm not making any statements of definitive fact. I'm just going to put the videos out for the whole world to see, and I'm going to let them make their mind up. And then good luck. Good luck after that, actually. We'll just leave it at that. Good luck. I don't know for sure, but good luck. Oh, and by the way, YouTube does not like sharing my content when it's about politics and stuff with new viewers. So if you think that I've solved this case, why don't you send it to everyone that you know and also post it on your social media so that these kids are going to get held accountable. Okay. So let's start right here. Okay. So Benny Orrin, okay, like this is what Benny Orrin's profile looks like right now. Okay. It's a picture of a dog. Okay. Just keep that in mind, right? Right now, it's a picture of a dog. Okay. Now, this is a video that they posted, okay, the other day, right? It's like, my friends and I got ambushed by the Palisades fire soon after it started. We hiked up to Skull Rock and smelled smoke as we were hanging. We quickly had to run for our lives. Okay. Well, let's look at the video that CAL FIRE has of whoever did start the fire. And then we're going to take a look at this video and see if anything jumps out at you. And you know how we looked at Benny Orrin's profile? This is what Benny Orrin's profile looked like before yesterday. It was a plug plugged into an outlet, and his tagline was, "Ain't nothing but a prankster partay." Okay? Here's what it looks like now. It's a dog and has no tagline. Oh, and I'm talking, he changed this literally yesterday after shutting his entire social media down for about 4 to 6 hours. We'll come back to that, okay? But first, let's go ahead and take a look at the actual fire being started. Now, I'm going to zoom in on this once I am editing in my software, so you'll see this as close as possible. But right here, you're going to see the fire actually starting, and pay very close attention to the person who is right next to the fire starting, and pay attention to what their outfit is, okay? What are they wearing? Because you can't see much more than that. What you see is a blue or black windbreaker, and you see a maybe grayish hat, right? The hat is definitely a lighter color than the windbreaker. The windbreaker is either blue or black, okay? Watch it again. Watch it every single time. We're going to make sure that everybody gets a nice, good look at that. There you go. See them running down the hill, okay? Make sure the fire's starting, and then they run down the hill, okay? Now, if you look closely at the date here, what date is that? That date is 1/9/2025. So, feel like that's the day that all of this started, if I'm not mistaken, right? Okay, so we've seen this enough? Everybody agree that the guy's wearing a blue or black windbreaker and a hat, Okay. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next phase of this investigation. This is, for the record, this is their big post that was intended to go viral, right? My friends and I got ambushed by the Palisades fire soon after it started. We hiked up to Skull Rock and smelled smoke when we were hanging, and we quickly had to run for our lives. Okay. Their goal, again, is to go viral, right? This guy ain't nothing but a prankster party. Okay. Now watch this. Ready?
Wait, we're in a fucking fire right now. Guys, we gotta go up. Let's go up. Let's go up.
Whoa.
Go. Benji, this way.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What was he wearing?
Wait, we're in a fucking fire right now. Guys, we gotta go up. Let's go up.
Is that a blue windbreaker with a gray hat? Now, let me just take a pause real quick right now to let you know this video is far from over, because we're going to get into a lot of other stuff that they posted, how they are self-snitching on themselves, as well as why the investigators are pretending that they are not already all over these guys. And by the way, if you have enjoyed this video and you feel like we got them, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to this channel and tell your friends and ring the bell. Looks kind of like the outfit that the person who started the fire is wearing. And then they just mysteriously happened to be right there to film this dramatic footage that, by the way, has 618,000 views so far. This is a person who has 600 followers now, and I'm one of them. And the only reason I'm following him is because I want to make sure that I capture every single thing that this fucking idiot says between now and when he goes to prison for this. Okay? So there you go. Okay? And this is what they were going for. This is their video. Okay? This is why they did this, in my opinion. They wanted to start a fire and capture this dramatic exit so they could go viral. Watch.
Let's go up. Go. Benji, this way. Yeah. Come on. Nice.
Okay. So there you go. One more time, right? Take a look at that outfit. And then let's take a look again at the person who started the fire. Now, in addition to outfits, why doesn't everybody just take a moment and tell me if this feels like their energy is a little bit off, given the fact that their story is that, oh my God, there's a fire bearing down on us. Now, also in this video, you have two people running down to a fixed position where other guys are, and they're filming, right? Like, there's two people running away from the fire over to their friends where they're just hanging out. Okay. So just forget about the outfits just for a second and just pay attention to their faces. Does this seem like an appropriate face for people to have in this situation?
Dude, it's catching up. Dude, it's
all smiles, right? Now let's listen to this also, because this feels all wrong as well.
That shit is going quick.
This thing's going quick. Oh fuck. Okay. Where's someone saying, "Hey, should we call 911?" Like, "Hey, should we call 911?" Not one of them? No one? Should we call 911? Nope. Okay, cool. And a nervous laugh like, "We definitely did this." And then there's this one.
This is the last. Dude, that's right where we were standing. We were literally right there. Holy shit.
Yeah. See, now they're filming their movie. All right, so now let's look at some other stuff that this guy's posted, as well as some other articles and things like that. We're just going to do a little investigation ourselves, and then we're going to go look at the unfathomable coverage that the LA Times put on these guys. I want you guys to seriously go look at what the nonsensical coverage coming from left-wing media is on these guys, because you want to know why? It's because right-wing people discovered that these guys had done this, and so they immediately went into defense mode on these guys. These guys who lit these fires, who burned LA to the ground, most likely, okay? It's going to blow your mind. I mean, I kind of want to start there. Listen to this article, and then we're going to go back, and you guys can tell me, listen to this article, and then actually, God, you know what? I take that back. I want to show you how absurd these guys are. Then we'll look at that and look at how absolutely zero research LA Times did, okay? So these guys came back on the 14th, right? All right. So here's what they posted. This is what they posted. Chilling footage of start of mega LA fire sparks wild theories. So this guy came back on after deleting his account to change his profile picture from that plug. Actually, let me show you that real quick, okay? So this is wait, where is it? Hold on. There's this. Okay, here we go. So Heavy Duty Country commented to these guys. You said, this shit's going great at the beginning of your video. You have an electrical outlet as your profile picture and talking about pranks in your bio. Why are your buddies smiling running down the hill? Okay. And in another one, he said, you have an electrical plug as your profile picture and you're a prankster or whatever. And he's like, you're either the dumbest arsonist in history or you're trying to frame yourself as that. And then the dude deleted his entire profile, disappeared. And when he came back on, he had no electrical plug and also had no prankster stuff on his thing. Okay. But then when he came back, this is what he posted. He posted an article about them fleeing and people speculating that it might be them. Okay, vision of a group of keep in mind, this guy posted this idiot who started this fire most likely, okay? Vision of a group of young men fleeing from an apparent starting point of the Mammoth Palisades fire that has devastated a vast chunk of LA has sparked flood of wild conspiracy theories. Wild conspiracy theories. I just showed you a video of someone in a blue windbreaker starting the fire from the Cal Fire UCS University of LA or I don't know, whatever university that is, the footage, okay? So you have footage of the person starting the fire. You see what their outfit is. And then I showed you a video of this guy's own posting. He posted of himself running down the hill in the exact outfit of the person who's on video starting the Palisades fire. And this is the coverage that you get, dude. Wild conspiracy theories. These people are such morons, dude. Wait till you see the LA Times ones, okay? If you believe X, the hikers are either ruthless arsonists, covert CIA operatives conducting a false flag operation, hapless and negligent stoners, or climate change spruikers. No, they're fucking pranksters because that's exactly what they said they were, and we saw them light the fucking fire. You stupid morons. The clip uploaded to social media shortly after the blaze broke out in Palisades shows 6 friends in their early 20s near a popular scenic lookout in Temescal Canyon. My friends and I got ambushed by the Palisades fire soon after it started, Benny Oren wrote alongside the Vision. We hiked up to Skull Rock and smelled smoke as we were hanging. We quickly had to run for our lives. Why would they defend these guys? Like, I'm seriously asking, like, why on earth would they defend these guys? Oh, they're probably like, they think it's conspiracy theories, they're CIA operatives. No one's conspiring or talking about what they are. We're saying they started the fires, okay? Or at the very least, they have made it look so, I mean, dude, you see there's someone who looks who's wearing his exact outfit starting the fire on video. And these morons go and defend them. This is why, okay, you guys, the media, this is why your political party is imploding, because this is, and you think they're ever going to come out and go, wow, geez, you know, we kind of condemn those guys as conspiracy theorists without really even looking at what they posted. And man, I mean, this was a really serious crime and they were really all over it, you know, because at a certain point, people who read your shit, okay, they read your shit. And then they see what the outcomes are, and they're like, wait a minute, those idiots said that they were like some crazy conspiracy theorists. These guys were guilty all along. They were right. Do you have any idea how many millions of people are on our side now because of people like you and your trash coverage? Wait until you see the LA Times.
See the rest. Oh, but let me continue with the slide deck. Okay. All right, so this brings us to the metadata. Okay, and at this point, my suppositions about Nicholas Berggruen and the World Economic Forum and Nathan, what's his last name? Galders, it'll come to me, his partner in crime, starts here. So this is something that the Berggruen Institute published 10 years ago called A Blueprint to Renew California. And one of the things about, and hat tip to Allison McDowell. Allison McDowell has done a ton of work on Berggruen. And so much work that she's gone down every rabbit hole that you can get completely lost in it. So there's that. But this Blueprint to Renew California came out about 10 years ago. And I was talking to George Webb about it on my show yesterday because there's a interview that Nicholas Berggruen did when he was promoting a book. So they published this paper. They published a book called Reinventing Democracy. I think it's called Reinventing Democracy. And there is a 1 hour presentation at the Oxford Union done 10 years ago by Nicholas Berggruen, where he talks about how the government in California doesn't work. And if I didn't follow your work, Matthew, and if I didn't study neurolinguistic programming and NLP and linguistics for the last 4 years, I wouldn't have been able to pick up on it so quickly. But he presents a case where California's government is completely dysfunctional because in order to change anything in the Constitution, you need 2/3 of the legislature to vote on it. And then he goes on to say that it's been changed 500 times. So he says that it's a terrible thing because you can't make change. But then he says that it's been changed 500 times.
It's so volatile. Yeah, right. Because he's basically saying it's so volatile and thus not a competent way of having a society because it's changed so many times. But at the same time, it's not viable because it can't be changed because it's so rigid. And so, like, which one are you going to pick, right?
I mean, I don't know if it's a tautology or a self-licking ice cream cone or an unlicking ice cream cone or whatever it is. But so he put this together with Eli Broad, who's an oligarch. Willie Brown, famously associated with Kamala Harris. Gray Davis, who was the governor who got kicked out. I think that was all hair pulling to put in the similar way. But like Kamala, it's funny because Kamala Harris was around back then too, with Kamala Harris and Trump. But I digress. Who else? Condoleezza Rice, Eric Schmidt, Terry Semel, who was I think he was the president of a big movie studio. I don't remember which one. And then he became the president of Yahoo. And then George Shultz, we all know him. Okay. And basically this blueprint to renew California is all about changing the way that California is governed in a very unconstitutional way, or a new constitution. Let's just say a new constitutional way. And they have the new constitution already written. It's very convenient, you know? So it's Hegel, right? So here's the synthesis that they're presenting 10 years ago. So I've been looking for whatever the synthesis, whatever the thesis is going to be. All right, I'm going to jump to the map here. If you, in the lower right-hand corner, this is a map and I've links to all of this on my Twitter. This is in the 1970s, the Vietnam War was there were a lot of people who were organized against the Vietnam War in Los Angeles. And as soon as Richard Nixon announced that the war was over, those people very quickly became converted to ecologists, okay, fighting for ecology. And all of the green land, all of the green parts of this map were privately held pieces of land. And the governor at the time, a guy named Jerry Brown, this 41 years ago, worked to create this thing called the Santa Monica Mountain Conservancy. And the idea of the Santa Monica Mountain Conservancy is that they don't want people building houses in these mountains. So if you look in the direct center, it says Santa Ynez Canyon Park. And immediately to the left of that, and that's where my ex-wife's condo was, which burned to the ground. And immediately to the left of that is the Santa Ynez Reservoir, which was empty, which was put there for firefighters to fight fires with. Okay? The thing that you need to understand about this finger of land that goes up here is that Palisades Drive, the blue line that runs through it, was originally supposed to run all the way to the San Fernando Valley on the city master plan, because on the left, you've got Topanga Canyon Boulevard. Topanga Canyon Boulevard goes all the way to the San Fernando Valley. On the right, you've got Sepulveda Boulevard. That connects Santa Monica to the San Fernando Valley. And so they were going to put a route through the middle because the traffic was so terrible. They were also going to build houses there. Once the Santa Monica Mountain Conservancy was created, they were no longer allowed to build the rest of that road. And so that neighborhood that my ex-wife lived in called the Highlands is kind of a stranded neighborhood it's the hole in the middle of the donut, right? That is the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy. My neighborhood is in the lower right corner where it says Pacific Palisades Park. It kind of looks like Italy. It looks like an Italian boot going down there.
Right. Yes.
That's the neighborhood that got burned 100% or 99% to the ground. So what you need to understand about this map, two things. One, bracketing the area are the J. Paul Getty Museum on the right and the Getty Villa on the left. Neither one of those things burned. They both have private fire departments. Okay. But the land that goes between those two museums is the land that they want to either they don't want the peasants living on this land anymore. They either want it, like the World Wildlife Fund or something like that. They want to return all this stuff to nature and have a few probably 20,000 square foot bungalows for a few oligarchs who can afford to live there. But what's important about this map is all those gray areas, the San Ynez Canyon Park, the Temescal Gateway Park, where I'm reading the titles here. The Hilton Open Space, the Sullivan Canyon Park, the Will Rogers Historical Park, the Getty Open Space. These are all the things that burned last week. Okay? These are all the things that were on fire. And the fire started at the top of where it says Santa Ynez Canyon Park. The wind was blowing due south, and it was blowing between 70 and 100 miles an hour. Okay, we have winds every year. We do not have 70 to 100 mile an hour winds every year, but they're predictable because there are these different weather formations that happen. El Nino, El Nina, they have different names for them, but they know that when the ocean warms to a certain temperature in Mexico, that these winds are going to come. So these winds were completely predictable, right? They knew that there was going to be high winds, and you don't need an exploding smart meter. You don't need a directed energy weapon. You only need a few people on e-bikes who are not carrying phones, so they're not squawking, with blowtorches that fit in your pocket, which they sold on the front counter of the hardware store. I bought one. It burned in the fire, but by the cash register at Anawalt Lumber, they have these little handheld blowtorches that I thought were good for like doing shrink wrap and on wires. You put these shrink connectors on wires and you hit them with a little torch and they shrink up.
All right. So regardless of the origin of the fire, which is still under dispute, it seems to have accomplished a whole bunch of checklist things for smart cities and Agenda 21 and things like that. Peter mentioned that George Shultz was associated with the Peter Berggruen project. George Shultz's dad, Earl Shultz, helped the Western companies create the Soviet infrastructure. So there's, again, a multi-generational chain, a lineage that goes back to Columbia University trained globalists who are among us, who support collectivism and communism. And while I'm here, let's just go forward to ecology, because that was another topic that came up. Again, that's the whole driver behind the Earth Charter, which brings Agenda 21. And it's also the idea behind cybernetics and the Macy conferences. This whole idea was created by Holism and Jan Smuts, who was, he reigned in South Africa after Cecil Rhodes created apartheid. Let's put it that way. So with all that being said, ecology is a project of King Chucky III, and all that Peter was just alluding there to Peter Berggruen's affiliation with, rebuilding that whole area.
Nicholas.
Nicholas. Thank you. I was thinking about Peter Bergen, the guy who interviewed Osama bin Laden as well. I got that mixed up. All right. Well, what do you say? It's 4 a.m. Let's go back to the rest of the clips in that block, and then we will land the show, say thank you, and bid you all good night, because I'm sure it's going to be a hefty news week this week. LD has to also milk cows, and I got to plow a driveway. So there's a lot going on. All right, let's get to the Joe Rogan all the way through. We'll make those clips short, but get them in there, because the LA mayor and the California governor have some very weird reactions to the situation that they're supposed to be the responsible adults in the room.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
I did get like a bizarre. I did enjoy affecting the election.
Dude, imagine. I can imagine.
I did enjoy it because I didn't want to. I did not want to get involved in any way, shape, or form. But it got so weird.
Yeah,
you'd
crazy. You'd express that publicly in the past.
I was like, I don't want to have nothing, and I don't want to have anything to do with it in the future. I didn't want to. I just felt sucked into it. I'm like, like, we can't do this again. We can't do it with these same people that fucked us for 4 years, and then they're gonna we're gonna do it differently now. Like what's going on? Did you see what's going on? Obviously, you've seen what's going on in California, but the governor gave this creepy fucking speech where he was talking about speculators coming in and talking about what to do with the land of all these homes that have been burnt down, while it's still only 6% contained. And did this little dance, like, I've been talking with these, with the governor of Hawaii about what to do. We've got some ideas. A speculator, we're gonna have some meetings. Like, he's
really?
Oh, show it to him, Jamie. It's so creepy because it's happening while these people are. Their houses have been burned, all their childhood memorabilia, all the stuff for their kids, the photos, the fucking everything they have is gone. All heirlooms, their mother's wedding ring, that kind of shit. Everything's burnt to the ground. And this guy's like standing in front of all this stuff, and he's got a smile on his face, and he's talking about land use.
The development plan.
Watch this. Play this. And give me.
I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
With a big smile on his face. Look at the little wiggle he does with his shoulders. Speculator, watch this. Talking to Josh. Look at this. Look at this little wiggle. It's excited about the possibilities of speculators coming in. And he's saying, we're move forward. We're going to move forward on that. These people lost their homes. A lot of those people don't even have fire insurance because the fire insurance pulled out of California. I think 69% of fire insurance pulled out of California because they're like, this is too crazy. Like, you guys aren't doing jack shit to manage this. You're not clearing the brush. The amount of money they could have saved by just clearing brush, by filling the reservoir, that 11 million gallon reservoir was completely empty during the time of full fire season. Like, why didn't you fix that?
Yeah.
Like, it's all insanely mismanaged. And then this guy is on television talking about, we're really excited about that. Doing a dance in front of the burned down home that people used to sleep in, where their children would sleep in. Like, this is so disgusting. That's why I don't want to be governor.
It's funny. I was going to tell you about, on the way down here, I happened to be sitting across from one of our senators from Montana. And after... When the flight was getting off, it's hilarious. This old timer comes by him, and legitimately, I'm not joking, legitimately brings up to him potholes on the road.
Really?
Like on the airplane. It's like, you got to do something about these potholes. I'm outside of Belgrade, and those potholes are terrible. He's like, okay, yeah, got it.
Its history. At least 24 people have tragically been killed. More than 150,000 have been forced to flee their homes. 10,000 structures have been completely destroyed, including some of the country's most expensive real estate. And when the fires broke out, LA Mayor Karen Bass was in Africa. And when she returned, instead of answering critical questions from reporters, she chose to just ignore those questions and stay silent.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today? Can you back up? Appreciate it. Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster? No apology for them? Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home?
Karen Bass had a choice in that moment. Instead of fronting up and showing leadership, she ran away. Who else would like to know why she approved an $18 million budget cut for the LA Fire Department?
Come see us on tour in Dallas, Texas, Baltimore, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, and Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and only there.
Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show, everybody. Keaton Weiss here with Russell Dobbular in for Jimmy through today. He'll be back on Wednesday. So this is our swan song for the time being. LA Water Chief knew about empty reservoir, broken hydrants months before fires. Report. This is local ABC News in LA. Los Angeles' water chief reportedly knew about an empty reservoir and broken fire hydrants months before the deadly wildfires now spreading across the city that have left some communities in ashes. The Daily Mail reports the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power CEO Janice Quinones was hired by Mayor Karen Bass on a $750,000 salary in May. Now, LA Fire Department insiders are blaming Quinones for a nearby reservoir disconnection and broken fire hydrants, the outlet reports, claiming this has led to firefighters running out of water. The Mail reports that Quinones' past employer was linked to fire scandals. Quinones previously held a top executive role at electric company PG&E. The company previously went bankrupt over liability for several California wildfires, the outlet reports. Quinones reportedly oversaw the emptying of the Santa Ynez Reservoir in the Pacific Palisades area during brush fire season, sources told the outlet. That's the 117 million gallon reservoir that was empty when they needed it. The reservoir was designed to hold 117 million gallons of water, but was taken offline recently to fix a tear in the cover, the LA Times reported Friday. Former DWP General Manager Martin Adams told the Times that having the reservoir would have helped fight the Palisades fire. An LAFD source told the Daily Mail that DWP officials said had it not been closed, they probably would have been okay and had enough water for the fire. So that's a pretty damning quote right there. During a press conference amid the fires this week, Quinones said fire crews ran out of water due to, quote, low pressure in the system because they were using water faster than it was being replenished. The source, a former LAFD senior official, told the Mail lack of water was a common problem with a failure by DWP to fix fire hydrants. A current LAFD member told the outlet some fire hydrants were not working in the Palisades area during the fires this week. California Governor Gavin Newsom is demanding an independent investigation into Los Angeles' power and water departments after firefighters say many hydrants ran out of water. He is also looking into the reported reservoir closure. Newsom shared a letter addressed to Quinones on his X account. So here we go. All right, here comes the damage control from Newsom. New, I'm calling for an independent investigation into the loss of water pressure to local fire hydrants and the reported unavailability of water supplies from the Santa Ynez Reservoir. We need answers to ensure this does not happen again, and we have every resource available to fight these catastrophic fires. Every time I hear the word again, makes me want to punch a wall, because there's not going to be an again. I don't see you building this city back to what it was. There was another interview, it's not related to this segment, where he's talking about, we're going to build LA 2.0. LA 2.0.
I saw that. Yeah.
Try LA 0.5. Like, you're not going to be able to build it back to what it was. I don't think you're going to have the resources available. I think a lot of people are going to leave after this. And unfortunately, tragically, there's just nothing. There's just no way of envisioning how, on a scale like Los Angeles, you're able to build back to what it is. Even if you have the will to do it, the amount of time that's going to take, it's never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same. New Orleans was never the same after that hurricane. It was never the same. They never had the. I shouldn't say it's just a matter of capital, but you had an exodus of people. It was just it never really grew back.
The people who made New Orleans last.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You could see it even as an outsider. When I went back, it wasn't the same. Like that New Orleans, if anyone, a great show about post-Katrina New Orleans is Treme. Same guy who did The Wire. And very much similar style, very, very journalistic.
Now, we're discussing earlier in the week, these are very valid charges. A lot of people in Los Angeles, I know my own friends there, I'm sure you have friends, some prominent members of the community there, like Justin Bateman, the famous actress, saying that when Harry and Meghan visited the fire-ravaged embers of burning buildings and people's homes the other day. The cameras, of course, handily there, catching them on camera. Justine Bateman said they're disaster tourists. Others called them tragedy vultures. Others called them grief grifters. They're cashing in for their own publicity purposes. That was the allegation. Now, I don't know if they took that on board. They said they were offended. They told their favourite gossip column, page 6 in the New York Post, that they were very offended by what Justin Bateman said. Well, let me tell you, it wasn't just her. Loads of people are thinking that, particularly in poor Los Angeles right now. Anyway, old Meghan hasn't got the memo. She went back. She went back today, or was it yesterday? This time theatrically clutching bags full of supplies for the victims, hugging them and all that. I mean, when is she going to realise that this is tawdry? It doesn't look good. It looks like she's trying to get publicity for herself, to look like an angel who's helping the victims. When is she going to get that through her thick head?
Now, TMZ has been notoriously generous to Harry and Meghan when it comes to their coverage of them, to the point where I believe that they have gotten scoops directly from the Sussex's team in the past to thank them for some of that favorable coverage. And on their television show, TMZ's show, which is really fun because it's Harvey Levin, who's an attorney. He's at he's the head of the newsroom, and all of his reporters are shouting things out at him. And in their episode recently, they were talking about Harry and Meghan's trip to Pasadena, and there was only one person in the newsroom that believed that there was an ounce of sincerity there. Even Harvey Levin said, if I'm not allowed to go to see if my home still exists, and I see that Harry and Meghan are able to take a private tour with the mayor, I'm absolutely furious. I even saw a story today, which I know would crush you as much as it crushed me.
Were you or were you not thrilled to see Meghan and Harry show up and offer their support and help, heartfelt, sincere help?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know how much a hug accomplishes in this time. I hope they're doing actual work where they're actually bringing, donations, resources, things that people actually need in the wake of these fires to them. If they're doing that, kudos to you. I have a feeling they knew there were going to be some cameras present, and we're seeing a lot of celebrities, some of whom, were not directly impacted, showing up to, give a hug here and a slap on the back there. I hope they're actually doing something rather than showing up for their photo op.
Did you make sure that you were caught by the cameras when you went to help? Did you make sure that your name got in the press?
Yes, absolutely. I actually called beforehand and I said, you know what, if there's not at least 10 cameras there, just send me on another day. Let me know when to really be there. If it's
Link,
not documented, it didn't happen.
What we've now established is that Amala is the nicest of the three of us, because I know you and I are more like-minded about this visit.
These two hucksters should have stayed home, okay? The fact that they're out there getting a private tour of Pasadena and walking through the rubble, there are people who lost everything and they haven't been allowed to go back and to see if even a photo album made it. But Harry and Meghan are out traipsing through doing a photo shoot with paparazzi in tow. The Duke and Duchess of White Castle are so delusional. I am sick of seeing them. They should go back to the UK and eat crumpets and scones and beg for forgiveness from King Charles, express contrition. We don't need them there. Let me just say, Meghan, when I saw the headline that said Meghan Markle was out surveying the damage, why is she surveying the damage? Is she a first responder? Is she a firefighter? Is she going to say, let's bring in the excavator and the crane? She had no business being there whatsoever. The only silver lining from all of this is that her cringeworthy Netflix show got pushed back. That's the only good thing to come out of all of this.
Now they're saying it was only pushed back to March, which is shocking because that's way too soon. Good luck to her, she's already battling, record low approval ratings. Releasing a show about her fabulous life in Montecito in her mansion and how to create lovely home events when her city is in ashes. In March, nothing will have been rebuilt, never mind even cleaned up. And she's going to be out there in the flowing gown in the middle of her mansion oh, let me show you the perfect tea and champagne combo. Good luck, sister. That's not going to go well. Exactly. I do want to say this. New York Post reports that they were offended by Justine Bateman, calling them disaster tourists. The Post reports, quote, it's offensive to Meghan and Harry that anybody would think this is merely a photo op. A source exclusively tells Page Six, which is obviously Meghan.
There are drones the size of SUVs over people's homes. Cars are exploding in the middle of the street. Terrorists from ISIS, who we fucking have in our own military, are driving Turo rental cars down Bourbon Street and killing good people. Fog is blanketing the country for days. People are getting sick. Maybe it's alien spores. Maybe it's not. What is an alien spore? What's going on? And in the middle of all this psychopath will not stop. She will not stop. She doesn't care what happens. If the aliens land, if China launches, if Russia drops the big one in Ukraine, it won't matter to this bitch. She doesn't care. Play it again.
Let's make a show.
Let's go. I've always loved taking something pretty ordinary and elevating it.
Stop it for 1 minute. She's the only reason America may survive. Let me say this right now, and I mean this. She's the only person who stayed focused through this time. Everyone else, including myself, has been all over the fucking map. We've been led astray. We've been prey to disinformation. We've been following people down halls that lead to nowhere, going down rabbit holes to nothing. I was afraid to roll my window down the other night in Beverly Hills because of the dumb fog. It's crazy. We're all nuts. People are staring at the sky, waiting for aliens to zap them. One person has kept their focus. And yes, it's Baal, it's a demon. But one American person has kept their focus through all of this. Meghan Markle.
People with moments that let them know I was really thinking of them.
What? This is probably one of the most glamorous moments of my life.
It's magic! I'm going to share some little tips and tricks. I see what color I gravitate to, and everything goes from there. And how you can incorporate these practices every day. That's what you want. You want that shape and texture.
That's right.
Come on. This is about connecting with friends. I love that we're doing this together for the first time. Making new friends. That is so good.
We're family now.
No matter what happens, no matter if we're nuked no matter if it takes 1 billion years, no matter if aliens land, this will always be the zenith. We'll always just go right back to this. We will always go back to a self-important cunt selling cake to people before it all goes haywire again. Before the planet burns, before another ice age, before the aliens come, before fog blankets the earth, before we're all killed. I'm telling you right now, society will always rebuild back to this. There's nothing else. Society will always build back to this bitch in a beekeeper outfit making honey. It will always build back to this because there's nowhere else to go. That's the great irony here. That's the great irony of the human experience. There's nowhere else really to go. This is it. Every time society gets to this, they have to nuke us and blow up the whole thing, and we got to start again. The Sumerian tablets and the aliens land, and they go, how about you do it this way? And hey, this is math, and oh, cool. And then the Middle Ages, and oh, there's medicine. You don't have to use the leeches. And how about flight? You want to fly? And then you got, oh, cool, a computer. That's weird. Oh, it fits in your hand. And then no matter what, we always get to this. We'll always just get to this. I like to give people little moments, little things. I start with a color that inspires me, and I just move on from there. A little raspberry here, some flowers here. They're edible flowers. It always gets this is the place. And I guarantee you that we've done this before. We've been here before. We can feel it. We know it. We've been here before. Society will only ever get to this. And at this point, when we are doing this, when this bitch is drinking tea, that's when it's time to shut it all down and start over. And each time the aliens sit there, and each time they go, I wonder if it'll be different this time. I wonder if they'll get to another point this time. What happens? And every time it's a Meghan Markle, and every time she moves into the castle, and every time she gets offended, and every time she leaves, and every time they go, well, maybe good for her. What's she going to do now? And then every time she gets to deal with Spotify and Netflix, and then every time she makes a bunch of bullshit, and then every time she starts a lifestyle brand and fires all her employees, and half of them quit because she's a cunt. And then every time she ends up with this Netflix show where she's in a beekeeper outfit. Every time. And the aliens, they're running the simulation going, just one time we'd wonder what would happen if they made other choices. Just one time we wonder what would happen. Just one time we go, do you think they'll get to this point and not do this? But every time, like clockwork, no matter what, time doesn't matter up there. So to us, it's billions and billions of years. To them, it's just every day. You go to the office, you click on, is it still this bitch? Is it still the honey? Is it still the cupcakes? Is this still what they're doing? Finish it up here.
Learning.
Look at how much honey we have.
Do you believe in that? We're not in the pursuit of perfection. Woke us all up. We're in the pursuit of joy. Love is in the details.
I have to do it totally wrong
to get it totally right. We made.
And every time the alien sees this, every time they see this trailer, they just look at the other alien and they go,
go ahead, pull it. All right, so we have a lot to cover in this episode, but we're not going to cover it in this episode. So we just finished this section, and then we have this whole section. Newsom, new Marshall Plan, California's second exodus, Agenda 21 smart cities from Truthstream from 11 years ago, Joe Rogan, Shane Gillis, destroy LA wildfires, another LA wildfire rant by Tim Dillon. And then we had a whole Israel section we're not going to get to. And then we had a Candace versus Macron section. We're not going to get to that. So, as far as other things we need in this episode, I think we just need to turn it over to LD and thank our members and thank anyone who gave us a shout out tonight.
All right. Yeah. Thank you to the Grand Theft World community supporters. And thanks as always. Thank you to the people over on Rockfin, Tonight we had Thomas Mitchell, tipped us $20, says nice. Thank you, Thomas. Equality 7-2521, tips $20. Congratulations, Lima Delta, on your tech license. Stacking skills, defeating shills. Thank you, Dave and Laura, for the radios you sent me last winter and getting me interested in that. And yeah, I took my technician's exam, so I've got a call sign on the way soon, hopefully from the FCC. I'm all legal, but I gotta step it up. I actually, it was recommended you take the technicians and go ahead and test the general, see how it is, which my score was unmentionable, but that's the next level. There's more, I guess with the technicians level, there's not much talking on the radio that you can do legally, but you get to the next level general, opens up more bandwidth to you. So I'll work on that, but I set a little goal a month or so ago to go ahead and get that done. But thank you guys for helping with that. Lady DeBlue, tip $5, says GTW is the best. And Tanner Dadness, $5, reminds us that Stuart Copeland's brother, also named Miles, was manager for the police, also stayed on as Sting's manager, and might still possibly be in that position today. He certainly
was. Sting? Sting is a whole police operation.
Right. He certainly was when Sting went solo, which makes me think of the movie Ishtar, but with better songwriters.
Ishtar is a great movie that's an awful movie. Dustin Hoffman, Warren Beatty. It's an awful movie to watch, but if you watch the underlying tone, it's a great game. So, like, you got to be smart to watch it.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good one from like 1988. It was a sleeper at the movies because the movie sucks. You have to like be historically savvy to understand that movie. And then you see they took a good story and then they put a screenplay on it.
Right on. Well, that's all I have. Thank you. If you are interested, you're still awake, you can check out, I've got a little Telegram channel, might be streaming in there while I edit the show and play some music.
Yeah, right on.
I'll be up for a little bit before I go milk cows at 6 a.m. Hopefully get a nap in. But thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
I, too, am looking for a nap before I do snow removal. I would like to say, hopefully by this time next week, Free Ross isn't just a magnet sitting on a foreign affairs issue, that he's actually out and free. And maybe I'll get to meet him in person at PorkFest this year. Also, you paid attention this far, right? Bigger, better future. Just take the primer course. Get autonomy.info, click that button, take the primer course, get transparency, and then you could scroll up on the page and get your questions answered by a graduate. This is the most honest way I know to do business. And so I know that 98% of the audience needs these type of skills, needs this type of network, needs this type of systematic problem solving in their life. And maybe I just haven't made it like plain enough. So I triple dog dare you to go to getautonomy.info to either schedule a call after you have questions, or to get questions that are of a preliminary fashion answered by taking the primer course. And with all that being said, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in and not dropping out. Here is my good friend Brendan Daniel Condon to play us out. I outed you, dude. Just got doxxed. Brendan Daniel music. Here's The Hills We Die On.
We've been best friends ever since. That's how much I love this song.
That's Mike.
It sounds a lot better to have these guys on it now. We land on the moon in 1969. They lied about it, but I know that hill and I know they'll kill and die on it. Plant their flag on it. Tell me who killed who, and for what reasons, for what views, disguises. But I know that hill and I know they'll kill and die on it. They can fight on it. These are the hills. These are the hills we'll die on. We plant our flag and what we will not change our minds on. These are the hills we'll die on. And everyone's along for the ride under the guise of science. And I know that hill and I know they'll kill and die on it. Test and try on it. We need to be deceived about solutions to disease and violence. But I know that hill and I know they'll kill and die on it. They'll prescribe on it. These are the hills. These are the hills we'll die on. It's where we plant our flag and what we will not change our minds on. These are the hills that we will kill and die on. And so the curtain had been drawn, the news behind it. Well, I know that hill and I know we'll kill and die on it, 'cause they rely on us. These are the hills. These are the hills we die on. It's where we plant our flag and what we will not change our minds on. These are the hills that we will kill and die on. On the moon in 1969, they lied about it. But I know that hill and I know they'll kill and die on it.
Best song ever.
conspiracy is the story of history. It's the story of plunderers taking care of people who produce. They claim to take care of them through government, which doesn't give you anything, it doesn't take away first. So it's not creating something out of nothing. It's very real what they're doing. They're taking your rights or taking some people's rights and adding more to someone else's rights.
If you haven't heard about our Grand Theft World community membership, here are a few of the things you've been missing. A mobile app where you can access replays of the Grand Theft World podcast and show notes. Access to the Grand Theft World community on Discord, where we crowdsource news and resources, and you can contribute to the show. The opportunity to participate in the Grand Theft World bi-weekly town hall. Exclusive content from Richard Grove, including behind-the-scenes footage and future access to unpublished material. 93 episodes of the Peace Revolution podcast, and the Grand Theft World newsletter delivered straight to your inbox each week. If you want to stay ahead of the great game, visit us at grandtheftworld.com, click or tap the button in the top right-hand corner, and join a vibrant community of researchers blazing a new path to truth. We'll see you there.
as I unfold the groove, tune in and not drop out, not to cop out, the post beers, remove music. This wealthy cat was moving, stack of cash and sports cruiser, major accent deals mover, promoted fast like homeschoolers. Then noticing one day some bills that went unpaid, those crumbs they led one way, discovered some unfun game, Then he was called into a meeting to disrupt and expose, but that was the day that the world froze. So stuck in the traffic and then caught in the panic, he dipped out in a frantic speed to exceed the seed planted at the event, and what would soon come, connecting dots to be revealed in Project Constellation. Big props to Maria, broadcasted, that's where I'd hear and get hooked on the name of Richard Grove. What he's saying is hypnotic, synchronicity came out like chronic, all in full stride, compadres around all sides, seeking sources to provide solution. The heavy-handed knowledge is Willie saying the peace revolution, never knowing I was missing a blessing. The heaviest session recorded and revealed the ultimate history lesson in this quest, and I'm a Midwestern who's rocking it dope. Subscribe to media produced by tragedy and hope, and if you didn't know the gift, and here's what you've been missing, and listening is where conviction is revealed in descriptions in a brain model. Don't come out hollow, but full throttle, and dive in the deep end so history doesn't repeat, and make it complete. Catch Grand Theft World every week with Richard and Tony, chop it up with the homies, and I ain't talking about that public school baloney. And it's like you should know me, quoting Gatto in the flow that I'm growing, and LB's bearded is showing the time capsule stack of stats is open. So spread it around, the show is ready to pounce, audience that abounds, seeking out what's profound. I know it is challenging fallacies in the balance when a forensic story in it, boring men while exhorting in examination, contemplation, meditation, revelation, celebration, destinations planned, targets arrived. Autonomy crew of souls that survived, broke free from the 9 to 5, and we doing it live. Hey, with hope in our flow, where consciousness grows, as opposed to you don't have to think about it, dude. Cause it's a comedy show that be bombing truth, whoa, trying to make uncommon truths be more commonly known. That it's a Grand Theft World that I'm living in. Ain't no reptilian skin, just some normal humans who love to sin. From their banking powers they aim to win, deceive and betray all man. Make it everyone slaves to them. It's a Grand Theft World that I'm hearing at, disguised like a pyramid. For those tuning in, they be feeling that, revealing that things ain't what they seem, so I'm fighting back and digging jack, obtaining knowledge, wisdom, and artifacts, yeah, neglected aspect, that's what they lack. Yo, Trivium course, it'll deal with that, be a rebel, bring the logic back, cause it's a Grand Theft World that they rolling out. Got the Grove model out, tracing Rockefeller dollars straight to clouds. SEC connections are hard to doubt, but most go the common route, walking with their head in the shroud. Yo, it's a Grand Theft World that I'm peering at, disguised like a pyramid. But those tuning in, they be feeling that, revealing that things ain't what they seem, so I'm fighting back and digging jack, obtaining knowledge, wisdom, and artifacts. You should know It's not a video game.
This isn't Grand Theft Auto, folks. This isn't a video game.
This is Grand Theft World.
All right, LD.
It's a Grand Theft World that I'm peering at in the sky like a pyramid. For those tuning in, they'd be feeling it. Revealing that things ain't what they seem, so I'm fighting back and digging jack, gaining knowledge, wisdom, and artifacts.
If you need a single location to get cutting-edge information and keep up with the rapidly changing world around us, tune into Grand Theft World, where a forensic historian and a logic professor break down the week's news in depth and in context. There's a ton more there, so go check it out. And don't forget to get your Freedom Vault on the homepage.